The ancient conference hall buzzed with strange sounds from a dozen different species. Ambassador Vell adjusted his battle armor and looked down at the holographic display showing Earth's blue surface. His red eyes glowed with disgust as he studied the primitive world below. 300 years of watching, and what do we have to show for it? Vell's voice rumbled through the translator device around his thick neck. These humans still crawl around their single planet like insects. No colonies on other worlds. No ships that can travel faster than light. They cannot even leave their own star system properly. Across the curved table, Cyan Mora nodded her pale head. Her large black eyes never blinked as she read the minds of everyone in the room. The collective had sent her to speak for all the telepathic races in the galaxy. Her thin fingers moved through the air as she accessed the mental network that connected her people across space. The humans are unusual, Mora said in her whisper-soft voice. Most species reach for the stars when they develop nuclear power, but these Earth creatures turn their weapons on each other instead. They fight endless wars over patches of dirt and invisible lines on maps. Very strange behavior for a spacefaring. Race! Director Kane slammed his metal fist on the table. Half of his body was machine now, like most of his people from the Federation worlds. His cybernetic eye glowed blue as it scanned through thousands of data files in seconds. My analysis shows Earth is experiencing what we call a great filter event. They are stuck in a loop of self-destruction. Give them another 100 years and they will probably wipe themselves out completely. The other representatives around the table made various sounds of agreement. There were beings with tentacles instead of arms, creatures that looked like walking crystals, and others that seemed to be made of pure energy held together by force fields. All of them had traveled between stars for thousands of years. All of them looked at Earth with the same mixture of disappointment and amusement. I remember when we first found them, said Elder Tam, whose fish-like species had been exploring space longer than any other race in the galaxy. They had just split the atom. We thought they would be building starships within 50 years. That was 3 centuries ago. Ambassador Vell pulled up another hologram showing Earth's radio signals spreading out into space like ripples in a pond. Look at this nonsense they broadcast. Music, entertainment programs, something they call social media. If I were trying to hide from dangerous aliens, I certainly would not be sending out signals announcing my location to the entire galaxy. Perhaps that is exactly what they are doing, Mora said quietly, broadcasting noise to hide their real activities. The room fell silent for a moment. Then Kane's mechanical laughter filled the air. You give them too much credit, mind reader. My sensors show exactly what they are doing down there. Building factories, making cars, creating pollution. They are exactly what they appear to be, a young species that is not ready for contact with the galactic community. Vell nodded and made a note in his computer pad. I agree. Earth status remains non-threatening for another evaluation period. We will check on them again in 50 years. Maybe by then they will have learned to leave their planet without killing each other. As the representatives filed out of the conference hall, none of them noticed the small human satellite drifting past the space station's outer hull. It looked like space junk, just another piece of cosmic debris floating in the darkness. But inside its simple metal shell, sophisticated recording equipment captured every word spoken in the meeting. Far below on Earth's surface, Dr. Alex Rivers sat in an underground facility that did not exist on any government map. The room was filled with screens showing star charts, alien ship movements, and streams of data that most humans could not even begin to understand. Alex watched the satellite, feed with calm green eyes, and made careful notes on a paper pad. Still think we are primitive, do they? Alex said to the empty room. The doctor's voice was quiet, but filled with determination. Perfect. Let them keep thinking that. Alex walked over to a massive computer that filled one entire wall of the secret facility. The machine hummed with power as it processed information, gathered from 1,000 hidden sensors scattered throughout the solar system. Every alien ship that entered human space was tracked, analyzed, and studied. Every alien message was intercepted and decoded. Every piece of alien technology was reverse-engineered in laboratories that officially did not exist. The project had a simple name: Silent Running. While the galaxy watched Earth's public face, the wars, the pollution, the seemingly primitive technology, humanity's greatest minds worked in absolute secrecy. They learned alien languages, studied alien science, and prepared for the day when first contact would finally come. Alex pulled up a file marked Hegemony Military Tactics and studied the battle formations used by Vel's people. Another screen showed the telepathic network protocols used by Mora's collective. A third displayed the cybernetic enhancement procedures favored by Kane's Federation. Humanity had been listening to alien communications for decades, learning everything about their neighbors in space. Dr. Rivers? A voice came from the communication system built into the wall. We have a new development. Long-range sensors are picking up increased military activity in the outer system. Looks like someone is planning something. Alex smiled and made another note. Of course they are. They think we cannot see them coming. The doctor pressed a button that opened a secure channel to similar facilities hidden around the world. Attention all stations. Phase 1 of Silent Running is now complete. Begin Phase 2, preparations immediately. Across the planet, in dozens of secret locations, humanity's real work began. While the aliens prepared to treat Earth as just another primitive world to be conquered or ignored, humans made ready to show the galaxy what 300 years of patient silence had really accomplished. The cosmic community had made one critical error in their evaluation of Earth. They assumed that silence meant weakness. They were about to learn just how wrong they had been. The alarm in the Jupiter observation station had been quiet for 6 months. Lieutenant Tom Bradley was half asleep at his monitoring post when the screens suddenly exploded with activity. Dozens of unidentified objects were moving through the outer system, heading directly toward Earth. "This is not a drill," Tom said into his headset, his sleepy voice quickly turning sharp and focused. "We have multiple contacts approaching from the direction of Alpha Centauri. Ship designs match hegemony military patterns from our database." Within minutes, every human defense station in the solar system received the same message. The aliens were finally coming, and they were not bringing flowers and friendship. The lead ship was massive, easily 10 times larger than anything humans had ever built. It bristled with weapons that could probably destroy a small moon. Commander Lisa Hayes received the alert while eating breakfast on her ship, the Terra Nova. The vessel looked ordinary from the outside, just another human exploration craft with simple metal hull plating and basic engine systems. Nothing special about it at all, which was exactly how humanity wanted it to look. "All crew to battle stations," Lisa announced over the ship's communication system. "This is what we have been training for. Remember, they think we are primitive. Let us keep it that way for as long as possible." The Terra Nova moved to intercept the alien fleet near Jupiter's largest moon. Lisa knew her ship looked tiny and helpless compared to the alien war machines approaching Earth. She also knew that appearances could be very deceiving. On the Hegemony flagship, Captain Tor studied the approaching human vessel with amusement. His bridge crew made clicking sounds that served as laughter in their species. Tor's scales shifted from green to red as his excitement grew. This would be easy prey. "Look at that pathetic little ship," Tor said to his weapons officer. "It is not even armed. These humans are even more backwards than our intelligence report suggested." The weapons officer, a younger member of Tor's species, checked his targeting systems. "Should we destroy it immediately, Captain? Or do you want to capture some specimens for study?" "Neither," Tor replied with what passed for a grin among his people. "We will disable their ship and force them to surrender. Then we can make them watch as we strip mine their homeworld for resources. It will be educational for them." The Terra Nova came to a stop exactly 1,000 kilometers from the alien fleet. Lisa opened a communication channel that broadcast on every frequency the aliens might be monitoring. Her voice was calm and professional when she spoke. Attention. Unknown vessels. You have entered the Sol system without permission. This system is under the protection of the United Earth Defense Force. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. Captain Tor's laughter was so loud it could be heard throughout his ship. United Earth Defense Force? What are they? Going to defend their planet with? Pointed sticks? He activated his own communication system. Primitive humans, I am Captain Tor of the Hegemony Third Fleet. Your planet is now our property. Surrender immediately or we will take it by force. Lisa's response came back immediately. Captain Tor, we are aware of your species and your military capabilities. We are also aware that you have classified our world as non-threatening and assume we cannot defend ourselves. We strongly advise you to reconsider this position. This comment made Tor pause for a moment. How did these primitive creatures know about classified hegemony intelligence assessments? He decided it did not matter. Maybe they had intercepted some communications, but that would not help them against superior alien technology. You know nothing about our capabilities, human, Tor replied. Watch and learn what happens to species that refuse hegemony authority. Tor gave the order to his weapons officer. Minimal power, just enough to disable their engines and life support. We want them alive to serve as examples. The massive alien ship fired a beam of energy that should have cut through the Terra Nova's hull like a hot knife through butter. Instead, something impossible happened. The energy beam struck the human ship and simply vanished. Not deflected, not absorbed into shields, but gone as if it had never existed at all. Weapons officer, Tor shouted. What happened to our beam? I do not know, Captain. All systems show normal operation. The beam fired correctly, but the target shows no damage. Tor ordered a full power blast from all weapons. Every gun on his ship fired at once, sending enough energy to destroy a small asteroid. Again, the beams simply disappeared when they touched the Terra Nova's hull. The human ship sat in space, completely undamaged. Impossible, Tor whispered. No known technology can do this. Lisa's voice came over the communication channel again. Captain Tor, you have now attempted to fire weapons at a peaceful vessel. This constitutes an act of war against Earth. You have exactly 1 minute to power down your weapons and prepare to leave this system. You dare threaten us? Tor screamed. We have 10 ships to your 1. Our technology is thousands of years. More advanced than yours! 50 seconds, Captain. Tor turned to his science officer. Full sensor scan of that ship. I want to know how they are doing this. The science officer worked frantically at his controls. Captain, our sensors cannot penetrate their hull. It is as if the ship is not really there. But that is impossible. We can see it with our eyes. 30 seconds, Captain Tor. Fire everything, Tor ordered. All ships, concentrate fire on that human vessel. The entire hegemony fleet opened fire at once. The space around the Terra Nova filled with energy beams, plasma bolts, and missile explosions. The barrage continued for 30 seconds, long enough to reduce a planet's surface to molten rock. When the weapons fire finally stopped, the human ship remained exactly where it had been, without a single scratch on its hull. Lisa's voice was still perfectly calm. Time is up, Captain. Suddenly, every light on Tor's ship went dark. The engines stopped. The life support system shut down. Emergency power failed to activate. In seconds, one of the most advanced warships in the galaxy became a dead hulk drifting in space. The same thing happened to every ship in the hegemony fleet. 10 powerful warships reduced to floating scrap metal in less than a minute. Their crews were alive but trapped in darkness, unable to understand what had happened to them. Lisa's final transmission reached every ship in the now powerless alien fleet. You have 24 hours to abandon your vessels and return to your home, worlds using whatever emergency systems you have available. Any ship that remains in Sol system after that time will be considered a hostile invasion force. This is your only warning. The Terra Nova turned and flew back toward Earth, leaving the alien fleet drifting helplessly in space. Captain Tor sat in his command chair, unable to comprehend what had just happened. His species had conquered dozens of worlds. They had never encountered anything that could simply turn off their technology with no visible effort. As emergency systems finally came online, Tor managed to send a message back to Hegemony Space. It was short and desperate. Earth is not what we thought. Send help, send everything. News of Captain Tor's defeat spread through the galaxy faster than his damaged ships could limp home. In the emergency session of the Galactic Council, 3 ancient enemies sat together for the first time in centuries. The threat from Earth had accomplished what thousands of years of diplomacy could not. It had united the galaxy's major powers against a common enemy. Admiral Rex stood before the massive holographic display showing the Sol system. His people, the Dominion, had built the largest navy in known space. Ships that could crack planets, weapons that could ignite stars, armor that could withstand the explosion of supernovas. Rex had never met an enemy his fleet could not crush. "The situation is clear," Rex announced to the assembled representatives. "This Earth species has developed some form of unknown technology. They have used it to defeat a hegemony fleet. If we do not act immediately, they will spread this technology throughout the galaxy and upset the natural order." Ambassador Vell, his armor still scarred from his escape from Sol system, nodded grimly. "My ships were not just defeated. They were made helpless. Whatever these humans can do, it works against all our known science. We cannot allow this threat to grow." Scion Mora had been silent during the debate, her mind reaching out across space to touch the thoughts of her fellow telepaths. What she found disturbed her greatly. "My people have tried to read human minds from a distance. We find nothing. Not emptiness, but a wall we cannot see through. They have learned to hide their thoughts from us." Director Kane's mechanical parts whirred as he processed tactical data. "Joint action is required. I propose a combined fleet of 10,000 ships. We will surround their system and demand surrender. If they refuse, we destroy their sun and end this threat permanently." The vote was unanimous. Within days, the largest military force in galactic history began assembling at the edge of Sol system. Ships from dozens of species, each bringing their most advanced weapons and technology. The combined fleet was so large, it looked like a small galaxy of lights in the darkness of space. Admiral Rex took command of the massive armada from his flagship, the Star Crusher. The ship was 5 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to reduce Earth to cosmic dust. As the fleet prepared to enter human space, Rex felt confident that this would be the shortest war in galactic history. But when the alien fleet finally moved into the Sol system, they found something that made no sense at all. The system was empty, not just quiet, completely empty. Earth was gone. Mars was gone. The sun itself was gone. Where humanity's home system should have been, there was nothing but empty space dotted with a few asteroids. "This is impossible," Rex muttered as his sensors swept the area where Earth should have been. Entire planets do not just disappear. On ships throughout the fleet, alien scientists worked frantically to understand what they were seeing. Some suggested the humans had found a way to hide their entire system. Others thought maybe Earth had been destroyed in some kind of accident. A few wondered if they had gotten the coordinates wrong somehow. While the alien fleet searched empty space for any sign of Earth, reports began coming in from across the galaxy. A hegemony colony world near the edge of their territory had gone silent. Not destroyed, not evacuated, just silent. Ships sent to investigate found the planet exactly as it should be, but nothing was moving. People stood frozen in the streets like statues. Vehicles stopped in mid-motion. Even the wind had stopped blowing. The same thing happened to a collective telepathic research station. The facility was intact, but the hundreds of mind readers inside could not be contacted. When a rescue ship docked with the station, they found the crew frozen in time, their thoughts cut off in mid-sentence. A Federation manufacturing world reported similar problems. The factories were running, the machines were working, but all the cybernetic-enhanced workers had simply stopped moving. They stood at their posts with their electronic eyes still glowing, but they could not speak or move. Admiral Rex received these reports while his fleet continued to search the empty Sol system. A terrible understanding began to grow in his mind. "Communications officer," he ordered, "try to contact our bases in the Outer Rim." The officer worked at his station for several minutes before reporting back. "Sir, I'm getting no response from Outpost 7, Outpost 12, or the Epsilon Supply Depot. All communications have been cut off." Rex pulled up a galactic map and marked all the locations that had gone silent. The pattern was clear and terrifying. Human agents had somehow reached hegemony, collective, and Federation holdings across thousands of light-years of space. They had done it simultaneously, without being detected, and without leaving any trace of how they had accomplished it. "How many ships do we have in this fleet?" Rex asked his tactical officer. "Exactly 10,000 vessels, Admiral, the largest military force ever assembled." Rex studied the map again. If the humans could neutralize entire worlds instantly, what could they do to a fleet concentrated in one location? "All ships," he broadcast to the massive armada. "Emergency jump to coordinates Delta 7 immediately. Do not wait for further orders." But as the alien ships powered up their faster-than-light drives, nothing happened. The engines ran normally, energy flowed through the correct systems, but the ships remained exactly where they were. It was as if space itself had become thick as mud around them. Then the human broadcast began. It came from everywhere at once, every ship's communication system, every personal device, even the cybernetic implants in Federation crew members. The voice was calm, professional, and absolutely terrifying in its confidence. "Attention, Galactic Forces. This is Commander Dana Walsh of the Earth Temporal Corps. You are currently experiencing a localized time distortion field. Your ships and crews are unharmed, but you are now moving through time at approximately 1/10,000th normal speed. To you, this message seems to last a few minutes. In normal time, you have been listening to it for 3 days." Rex tried to move his hand to activate emergency protocols, but his arm felt like it was moving through thick liquid. His thoughts were clear, but his body could barely respond to his commands. Dana's voice continued. "Your governments made a critical error in their assessment of Earth's capabilities. You assumed our silence meant weakness. You were wrong. While your species focused on building larger ships and more powerful weapons, humanity focused on understanding the fundamental forces that govern reality itself. We have learned to manipulate time, space, and energy in ways your science cannot detect." Rex wanted to scream orders to his crew, but his mouth would not obey his commands fast enough. Around him, his bridge officers were trapped in the same slow-motion nightmare. Every colony, station, and military outpost belonging to your 3 governments is now experiencing the same temporal field you are trapped in. Your people are alive and unharmed, but they exist in a state of accelerated time dilation. They will remain that way until your leaders agree to our terms for peace. The message changed, and now Rex heard a different human voice. This one was older, with the authority of someone used to making decisions that affected entire worlds. "I am Director Maya Patel of the Earth Defense Council. Our terms are simple. All military operations against Earth will cease immediately. All research data and technological databases will be open to human inspection. Earth will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights equal to any other species. You have 72 hours of normal time to comply with these demands." Rex felt rage building inside him, but even his anger moved slowly in the time distortion field. This was impossible. No species could develop such advanced technology in secret. How had humanity hidden this capability from the galaxy's most sophisticated intelligence services? Maya's voice answered his unspoken question. You wonder how we accomplished this without your knowledge. The answer is simple. We never tried to hide our research from you. We hid it in plain sight. Every human radio broadcast, every television program, every piece of digital communication contained encoded scientific data. For 3 centuries, we have been sharing our discoveries with each other using your own monitoring systems to carry the information. The transmission ended, leaving the alien fleet trapped in their bubble of slow time. Rex could see his crew moving like figures in an old, damaged film, jerky, uncertain, struggling against forces they could not understand. Outside the time field, 3 days passed in minutes. On Earth, humanity revealed the true scope of their preparations. Hidden bases throughout the solar system came online. Ships that looked nothing like the simple Terra Nova emerged from concealment. Space elevators, orbital platforms, and research. Stations that had been invisible to alien sensors suddenly appeared as if materializing from another dimension. The galaxy's 3 greatest powers discovered they had been outmaneuvered by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Earth's silence had not been a sign of weakness. It had been the sound of humanity learning everything they needed to know about their future neighbors, while those neighbors learned nothing meaningful about Earth. The clock was ticking, and time, quite literally, was on humanity's side. The emergency meeting of the 3 galactic governments took place in a shielded bunker deep beneath the surface of Nexus Station, the galaxy's political heart. Ambassador Vell paced back and forth like a caged animal, his scales flickering between colors of rage and fear. Director Kane sat motionless, his cybernetic systems running calculations that all reached the same impossible conclusion. Scion Mora had withdrawn into herself, trying to process the complete failure of everything her species thought they knew about the universe. 48 hours, Vell snarled. 48 hours until their deadline expires and they... What? Kill every member of our species who is trapped in those time bubbles? Kane's mechanical voice was flat and emotionless. Analysis suggests the humans are not interested in genocide. If they wanted to kill our people, they would have done so already. This appears to be a demonstration of power, not a threat of annihilation. A demonstration? Vell's voice rose to a roar. They have paralyzed half the galaxy. They have made our most advanced technology useless. How is this not a threat? Before anyone could answer, the lights in the bunker dimmed, and a new voice filled the room. It was calm, patient, and speaking directly through their supposedly secure communication systems without any visible transmission source. Good afternoon, leaders of the galaxy. This is Dr. Alex Rivers, director of Earth's Silent Running Project. I thought it was time we had a proper conversation. The 3 alien leaders looked around the room in panic. Their most secure facility had been compromised as easily as a child breaking into a toy box. Alex's voice continued. Please, do not be alarmed. We have been monitoring your communications for several centuries now. Your security systems are quite sophisticated, but they are designed to keep out other alien species, not humans who have had 300 years to study them. Vell activated his personal shield generator, a device that should have made him untouchable by any known weapon. Nothing happened. The device remained dead in his hands. Your technology will not function while we are speaking, Alex explained. We find that conversations go more smoothly when everyone involved is on equal footing. Now, I believe you have some questions about recent events. Kane was the first to find his voice. How? Our intelligence services reported that Earth had no advanced technology, no faster-than-light travel, no energy weapons, no space-time manipulation capabilities. Your intelligence services were correct, Alex replied. We do not have any of those things in the way your species understand them. We took a different approach to the problem of cosmic advancement. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing a timeline of galactic history. As they watched, the display highlighted the development of various alien technologies over thousands of years. Every species in the galaxy followed the same basic pattern, Alex continued. Develop nuclear power, build bigger ships, create more powerful weapons, expand to other worlds. It is a very logical progression. It is also very predictable. The display changed to show Earth's development timeline. Instead of following the same pattern as other species, the human line branched in dozens of different directions. Humanity chose a different path. Instead of trying to build better technology than our neighbors, we decided to understand the technology our neighbors already had. Every alien ship that entered our system was scanned and analyzed. Every transmission was recorded and decoded. Every piece of alien science was reverse-engineered and improved upon. Cyan Mora finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. The radio signals, the television broadcasts, the internet traffic. You were using them to share research data. Correct. While your species monitored our communications looking for signs of technological advancement, we were using those same communications to coordinate the largest scientific project in human history. Every human scientist, every research facility, every university was working together to solve the puzzle of galactic science. The holographic display now showed the true scope of humanity's secret research network. Underground laboratories on every continent, hidden facilities throughout the solar system, research stations disguised as ordinary satellites and space debris. But time manipulation, Kane protested. That requires understanding of cosmic forces that should take millennia to develop. Alex chuckled. Director Kane, your species has been using faster-than-light travel for thousands of years, but you still do not understand how it actually works. You treat it like magic. Push the right buttons and reality bends to your will. Humans are not satisfied with magic. We want to understand the underlying principles. The display showed a cutaway, view of an alien FTL drive, with human annotations explaining how each component functioned and why. Once we understood how your drives manipulate space-time to achieve faster-than-light travel, it was a relatively simple matter to extend that manipulation to other aspects of reality. Time dilation, energy absorption, matter-energy conversion. They are all applications of the same fundamental principles your own technology uses. Vel slammed his fist on the table, though the impact made no sound in the controlled environment. You speak of this as if it were easy. Our greatest scientists have worked for generations to develop FTL technology. And they did excellent work, Alex agreed. We simply built upon their achievements. This is what humans do best, Ambassador Vel. We are a synthesis species. We take the best ideas from every source and combine them into something new and better. The hologram shifted to show the current state of the galaxy. Colonies frozen in time, fleets trapped in space, entire civilizations waiting for their leaders to make a decision. Which brings us to our current situation, Alex said. We have demonstrated that Earth is not the primitive world your governments believed us to be. We have also shown that we have the capability to defend ourselves against any conceivable attack. The question now is, what kind of galaxy do we want to build together? Kane's cybernetic systems hummed as he processed this information. You could have revealed your capabilities at any time. Why wait until we attacked you? Because, Alex replied, nobody listens to a species they consider primitive. If we had approached the Galactic Council 50 years ago and offered to share our discoveries, what would have been your response? The three leaders looked at each other and said nothing. They all knew the answer. Exactly. You would have dismissed us as delusional primitives claiming to understand science beyond our capability. But now that we have demonstrated our abilities, in a way you cannot ignore, you are willing to listen. A new voice joined the conversation. Director Maya Patel, speaking with the authority of someone accustomed to making decisions that affected entire worlds. Our terms remain the same, Maya said. Full membership in the Galactic Council, access to all scientific databases, and an end to military operations against Earth. In exchange, we offer something your species have never had, true cooperation between all intelligent races. And if we refuse? Vel asked. Then you will remain in your current state until you change your minds, Maya replied simply. We are very patient. We have been preparing for this moment for 300 years. We can wait 300 more. If necessary. Cyan Mora leaned forward, her dark eyes reflecting depths of thought her species was famous for. What do you really want from us? Alex's voice became warm, almost friendly. What we have always wanted, Cyan Mora. To learn, to grow, to explore the universe together instead of fighting over it. Your species excels at mental communication. The hegemony understands military organization. The Federation has mastered cybernetic enhancement. Earth's gift is synthesis, taking all these different strengths and combining them into something greater than the sum of its parts. The room fell silent as the three leaders considered their options. Outside, their civilizations waited in frozen. Time for an answer. The greatest military force in galactic history hung motionless in space, trapped by technology they could not comprehend. How long do we have to decide? Kane asked. You have as long as you need, Alex replied. But I should mention that your people trapped in the time fields are not suffering. To them, no time is passing at all. However, the rest of the galaxy is beginning to notice that 3 major governments have suddenly gone silent. Other species are asking questions. Some are preparing to take advantage of what they see as weakness. Maya's voice added a note of urgency. The galaxy is changing whether you participate in that change or not. The question is whether you want to help guide that change or be left behind by it. The choice was theirs to make, but time, as humanity had proven, was not on their side. 6 months after the galaxy held its breath, the new Galactic Council chamber hummed with activity unlike anything seen in its 1,000-year history. The massive circular room had been redesigned to accommodate not just the 3 traditional, major powers, but dozens of species that had never before been granted equal voices in galactic affairs. Ambassador Nova Thompson sat at Earth's new permanent seat, reviewing the morning's agenda on a tablet that looked deceptively simple, but contained more processing power than most alien space stations. Around the Great Circle, representatives from across the galaxy worked together on problems that would have started wars just months earlier. The transformation had not been immediate or easy. After the leaders of the 3 major powers finally agreed to Earth's terms, the real work had begun. Releasing the time-frozen populations was the simple part. Humanity simply turned off the temporal field generators. Rebuilding galactic civilization on principles of cooperation instead of dominance took considerably more effort. The medical applications alone have revolutionized healthcare across 47 worlds, reported Dr. Lynn Park, Earth's chief science liaison. She stood before a holographic display showing hospitals throughout the galaxy where human temporal technology was being used to heal injuries by reversing biological damage. A soldier wounded in combat can have his injuries reversed to a point before they occurred. Children born with genetic defects can be restored to perfect health. Even aging itself can be slowed or temporarily reversed. Ambassador Vell, still adjusting to his species' new role as partners rather than conquerors, nodded approvingly. The Hegemony Council has officially ended all military expansion programs. Our shipyards are now converting warships into exploration, vessels and hospital ships. It is strange to think of conquest as an outdated concept. Across the chamber, Director Kane raised his mechanical arm to request permission to speak. His people had perhaps undergone the most dramatic change of all. The Federation has begun dismantling our cybernetic enhancement programs. The human synthesis approach to technology integration is far more efficient than our crude mechanical replacements. We are learning to work with technology instead of becoming technology. Cyan Mora, speaking for the collective, added her own observations. Human emotional resonance has opened new forms of communication we never imagined possible. We thought telepathy was the ultimate form of mental connection. We were wrong. The human ability to empathize, to understand different perspectives without losing their own identity, creates connections that transcend individual thought. Nova smiled as she listened to these reports. The early days after the surrender had been filled with suspicion and resentment. Many aliens believed humanity had somehow cheated or tricked their way to dominance. It took months of patient demonstration and education to show that Earth's goal was partnership, not conquest. The breakthrough came when human scientists began, sharing their most closely guarded secrets, not just the applications of temporal technology, but the fundamental principles behind it. Where alien science had developed through competition and secrecy, human science had advanced through open collaboration and shared knowledge. The Agricultural Applications Report, Nova announced, calling up the next item on the agenda. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared above the council table, with green indicators showing worlds that had implemented human temporal farming techniques. Elder Tam, whose ancient species had once struggled to feed their growing population, gestured to the display with obvious satisfaction. Crop yields have increased by an average of 400% on worlds using temporal acceleration farming. Plants that once took months to grow now mature in days. Soil that was depleted by centuries of overuse can be restored to perfect fertility by reversing time in targeted areas. The map zoomed in to show a desert world that had been barren for thousands of years. Now it was covered with green farmland and flowing rivers. The wastelands of Kepler-7, Tam continued, dead for millennia. Now it feeds 17 neighboring systems. Nova nodded and made notes on her tablet. These regular progress reports had become her favorite part of council meetings. For the first time in galactic history, every major decision was being made with input from all affected species. The old system of three powers dividing the galaxy between them had given way to true democratic cooperation. Defense applications, Nova announced, moving to the next topic. A young officer from the hegemony military stood to present his report. The new planetary defense grids are now operational on 234 worlds. Instead of weapons, designed to destroy attackers, we now use temporal barriers that slow incoming threats to harmless speeds. Space pirates and raiders find their ships trapped in slow-time fields where they can be safely captured and their crews offered rehabilitation instead of punishment. This had been one of the most controversial changes. Many species struggled with the human concept that criminals should be helped rather than eliminated. But the results spoke for themselves. Crime rates had dropped dramatically across the galaxy as word spread that getting caught meant receiving education and job training rather than death or imprisonment. We have also completed the conversion of the old war fleets, the officer continued. Every military vessel in the galaxy has been refitted for exploration, rescue operations, or scientific research. The great battle cruisers that once terrorized entire star systems now serve as mobile hospitals and disaster relief centers. Director Kane activated his communication implant to add his own report. The Federation shipyards have begun construction of the first truly integrated exploration vessels. Ships designed from the ground up by teams of human, hegemony, collective, and Federation engineers working together. Each vessel combines the best technologies and insights from all our species. Nova pulled up the design specifications for these new ships. They were beautiful in a way that pure military vessels never could be. Sleek lines that spoke of speed and grace, sensor arrays that prioritized discovery over targeting, living quarters designed for long-term research missions, rather than short military campaigns. The first joint mission launches next month, Kane continued. Destination, the Galactic Core, a region no single species has ever successfully explored due to the dangerous conditions there. But with human temporal shielding, hegemony military discipline, collective mental coordination, and Federation technological integration, we believe we can finally discover what lies at the heart of our galaxy. The chamber buzzed with excitement. For thousands of years, the Galactic Core had remained a mystery. Ancient races had tried and failed to penetrate the dense radiation and gravitational anomalies that surrounded the galaxy's center. Now, working together, they might finally succeed. Cyan Mora requested permission to speak. The collective has a proposal regarding the exploration mission. We have been developing new techniques that combine human emotional resonance with our traditional telepathy. We believe we can create a communication network that would allow the exploration team to stay in contact with the galaxy even from the core region where normal communications fail. Nova made another note. Approved for development. What's the timeline on implementation? 6 months for the basic system, perhaps a year for full integration with the ship's other systems. The terraforming projects, Nova announced, moving to another agenda item. The holographic display changed to show dozens of worlds in various stages of transformation, from barren rocks to garden worlds. A representative from one of the smaller species, a being that looked like a walking crystal formation, spoke in musical tones that the universal translator converted to words. The crystal cities of Mendara offer our gratitude to the Council for the restoration of our homeworld. Our star was dying, our world growing cold. The human temporal engineers have reversed the aging process of our sun, giving us another billion years of life. Similar thanks came from around the chamber. The dead world of the insectoid hive mind had been restored to tropical paradise. The frozen ocean world of the aquatic deep swimmers now teemed with life again. Worlds that had been written off as uninhabitable were becoming homes to millions of beings. But perhaps the most remarkable change was not in any specific technology or project. It was in the way the different species were learning to work together. The old fears and prejudices that had kept the galaxy divided for millennia were slowly giving way to genuine cooperation and friendship. Personal log entry, Nova said quietly into her tablet as the formal meeting concluded and representatives broke into smaller discussion groups. It has been exactly 1 year since humanity revealed itself to the galaxy. The changes have been beyond anything we dared hope for. She looked around the chamber, watching hegemony warriors sharing jokes with Federation technicians, collective telepaths helping smaller species overcome communication barriers, and dozens of other species, working together on projects that would benefit everyone. We always knew that our silence was temporary. Nova continued her log entry. We were preparing for the day when we would finally speak. But we never imagined that when we finally found our voice, we would be speaking for an entire galaxy working in harmony. A gentle chime indicated that the afternoon session was about to begin. Today's topic was the most ambitious project yet proposed, a joint mission to explore beyond the galaxy itself, to see what lay in the vast emptiness between island universes. As the representatives returned to their seats, Nova reflected on how much had changed since that first disastrous encounter between Captain Tor and the Terra Nova. The galaxy had learned that strength was not always loud, that the most dangerous civilizations were often those that chose not to show their power until absolutely necessary. But more importantly, they had learned that true strength came not from domination, but from cooperation, not from conquest, but from synthesis. Not from silence, but from finally finding the right words to bring everyone together. Earth's silence had ended, but their greatest discovery was just beginning. Together, the species of the galaxy were about to teach the universe that the most beautiful music was not a solo performance, but a harmony sung by countless different voices working as one.